lesson 2.3, number 20. Okay, so we're going to reread lines 1435 to 1463. Explain Odysseus' success in taking the suitors by surprise. What is the purpose of Odysseus' speech? And explain why Eurymaeus responds to Odysseus. Okay, once again, we're going to look at the specificity here. And once again, specificity is when I ask you to look at specific lines, read those specific lines, and then go back and answer the question. So let's look at lines 1435 to 1463. For they imagine as they wish that it was a wild shot and an intended killing. Fools, not to comprehend they were already in the grip of death. But glaring under his brow, but glaring under his brows, Odysseus answered, "You yellow dogs, you thought I'd never make it home from the land of Troy. You took my house to plunder. You dared bid for my wife while I was still alive. Contempt was all you had for the gods who ruled wide heaven. Contempt for what men say of you hereafter. Your last hour has come. You die in blood." And as they all took this in, sickly green fear pulled at their entrails, and their eyes flickered looking for some hatch or hideaway from death. Eurymaeus alone could speak. He said, "If you are Odysseus of Ithaca, come back. All you say these men have done is true. Rash actions many hear more in the countryside, but here he lies, the man who caused them all. Antinius was the ringleader. He whipped us on to do these things. He cared less for a marriage than for power Cronan had denied him as king of Ithaca. For that, he tried to trap your son and would have killed him. He is dead now and has his portion. Spare people, I'm sorry, for your own, spare your own people as for yourself. We'll make restitution of wine and meat consumed, and add each one a tithe of 20 oxen, with gifts of bronze and gold to warm your heart. Meanwhile, we cannot blame you for your anger. Okay, I don't know about you, but Antinius, not Antinius. Yes, Antinius was a ringleader, but he didn't act by himself. So, and what Eurymaeus does is what most evil people do. Oh well, it wasn't. Well, I just took part in it. I didn't really. Yeah, I took part in it. I'm sorry. I'll give you back your stuff. I just totally disrespected your wife, disrespected your son, etc. But Antinius, he's really the one at fault. It wasn't me. Okay, wrong. Okay. Now, the question is asking you, what is the purpose of Odysseus' speech? Explain why Eurymaeus responds to Odysseus. Okay, now, that question is kind of vague, but um, that's one of the reasons why I answered the question. But the suitors believed that Antinius's death, or that shot, they thought it was a wild shot and an unintended killing. And what Odysseus wanted them to know at that particular moment when he committed that act is he wants the suitors to know why they are going to die. And he tells them why they are going to die. You tried to take my wife, you tried to kill my son, you dishonored my home, Ithaca, yourselves, your family, whatever. Okay. So the element of surprise is over. Okay. And he wants them to realize that he's back and that they have gravely insulted him and his family. And of course, he's very angry that Eurymaeus is putting all of the blame on Antinius. It wasn't me. He did it. Oh my God, people like that are so annoying. You took part in it. You took part in it. You're just as guilty. Okay, so let's look at the next question. Close read. Reread lines 1484 to 1486. How do these lines differ from those that go before them? Why do you think the poet made this change when beginning a description of the battle? Okay. Okay, so the line numbers are 1484 to 1486. Okay, so when we look at this, students, let's see. He drew his own sword as he spoke, a broadsword of fine bronze, honed like a razor on either edge, and then crying a hoarse and loud, he hurled himself at Odysseus. Uh, okay, this is really long, and I'm just going to get to the point. So one thing you notice about this is that if we just look at it from appearance's sake, those lines are longer than the lines that we have seen previously. And one of the things that I notice about those lines is those lines sound like prose. They don't sound very poetic. Okay. And so I think the reason that Homer changed it from poetry to prose is he wanted to let the audience know, hey, the deaths have begun. Okay, so what I wrote, sounding much more academic, is the lines are longer than the lines before them. The sentences are prose, and Homer intends to make this battle scene as fierce and wild as he can, so he abandons the more restrained and rigid poetic line. Okay, all right, students, there we go. We have our questions there. Um, and if you have any questions or concerns, please email me at tcollins@ebrschools.org. Send me a remind text, ask questions in class, or ask questions in Go Guardian. Have a nice day. Bye bye.